Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Football Guys Sunday Morning Live special edition today, a halftime edition. Can we call it a halftime edition? I guess so. I'm Joey Wright, joined always by my co-host Jagger May. Jagger, how you doing today, buddy?
Living the dream, guys.
Living the dream.
I have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and they finally scored. So by dream, I mean I was living a nightmare until about 2 minutes ago. So
And I know Jagger always kind of seems like real cool and chill, but guys, when Stephon Diggs caught that touchdown, Jagger was swinging his shirt over his head. It was insane. You should have seen it. Jagger, we have a special guest today. He's come down to the B show from the A show. Injury expert Adam Hutchinson's here with us today. Adam, how are you doing today?
I don't know if this is the B show, guys. I'm doing well. You guys technically come on first and then get a good first halftime leave, and then me, Dave, and Alfredo just try not to blow the lead in the second half. So
I
I think
know.
that qualifies us as the B team.
Does it?
I
Does
think
it?
I
I
got
always
called up.
we have these meetings every week, and I always like to kind of very slyly mention that we always have more viewers than they have. I mean, the fact that you guys have more competition at that time than we do at our time, but still, it's numbers are numbers. So,
yeah, this is
but
fantasy, and if anybody knows how to skew numbers to fit our narrative, it's us. So.
yes. Well, guys, we're here with you every Sunday game day from usually 10:30 to 11:15, but it's a special London week, so we're just doing one show this week. But here we're here to answer all of your fantasy football questions, your start sits, your trades, waiver questions. If they're a little bit early, we'll answer them all. But let's take a look at the injuries first, since we have Adam here. Out today, we have Pat Fryermuth and Juwan Johnson, so a pair of tight ends you will not be able to play today. I think Pat Fryermuth is probably the more interesting name there. Adam, do you expect him back, anytime soon, or?
I mean, I think relatively soon, typically about a 2 to 3 week injury when we're looking at tight end injury data. So him being out in week 5 wasn't all that surprising. I think week 6 is about a 50-50 split. It really come down to that practice report on Friday. I think if he can get in some limited practices this week, he has a decent chance. But that's going to be one that fantasy managers are going to want to track the Pittsburgh Steelers practice report.
Perfect. And then not an injury, but Chase Claypool will not be starting for the Miami Dolphins. He was traded over from the Bears this week, but he will not be making his Dolphins start today against the Giants. Treylon Burks will be out today, as well as Elijah Mitchell. So none of those guys will be in your lineup. So if you've got them in there, pull them out. A few guys not expected to play, and we're going to get some updates in probably about 30 minutes on Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, two Detroit Lions that are both doubtful and not expected to play. Gibbs popping up there was a little sad for some of the Gibbs managers. Adam, how are you feeling about Gibbs and St. Brown after this week? Do you think these are just kind of 1 week hangups and they'll move on? Or are we looking a little bit longer that they're going to be on the shelf?
For Gibbs, maybe. I mean, he was a late addition to the injury report, and we don't really have a lot of information. Is he having some hamstring tightness? That would point to a shorter stint versus like a new hamstring strain pull. That could be a multi-week injury. So hopefully we get a little bit more clarity on that. But if you roster Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not panicking yet. I think he still could play in week 6. The Amon-Ra St. Brown situation is kind of interesting. I mean, anytime we have an abdomen type core injury, I start to get a little bit worried. I wrote about this on the Football Guys game day expectations. If you guys are not subscribed to Football Guys, you definitely need to go to that because I break down every Saturday what I think for injuries. But I talked about, if Amon-Ra St. Brown is dealing with a sports hernia type injury, I mean, something that requires surgery, that could be a multi-week absence. Detroit has a bye in week 9. Depending on if we get some word that it is a core strain sports hernia type injury, he might be out till Detroit's bye in week 9, but we haven't got a lot of information on that one either. If it's just some core soreness, maybe sometimes they label those core injuries as like groin strains and things like that. That could be a shorter stint. But that's going to be one that I'm going to be following personally very closely just to see if we get a little more clarity on the situation.
Jagger, since they're both going to miss, how do you feel about Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond today? Or do you have a preference between any of those two guys? I know Josh Reynolds is also questionable today, though.
I know for me the answer is Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, and then depending on how long they miss, or how long Amon-Ra St. Brown misses, I think Jamison Williams by default. I mean, they spent the draft capital on there. I think that's the answer. So, like This week, yeah, I'm probably going to put in Khalif Raymond,
Okay.
or something like that. But these aren't anything I'm going to blow fab on. I'm not going to try to make a trade or do anything drastic because we already know the answer.
Okay. All right. Also not expected to play today is T. Higgins with the rib injury, and then Saquon Barkley not expected as well. So if you got him in your lineups, you're gonna have to wait a little bit later. Especially, I think the Saquon injury is a little bit later in the day, so definitely have a backup if you're looking there. Questionable today. We've not gotten news on these. These will come through in about 30 minutes. Ramondre Stevenson, Javonte Williams is going to test out everything pregame. Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams is questionable for tomorrow night. That's a big name. Adam, what are you seeing with Devontae Adams at this point?
So the Devontae Adams injury live looked like an AC joint sprain. Typically, wide receivers miss time for that injury. He actually went to the locker room when it happened. I suspect they gave him something for the pain. Typically, they can give some type of an injection, cortisone injection, to alleviate your symptoms. But I talked about this earlier in the week that this would be something that fantasy managers would have to monitor because I think it could be concerning, even though Adams came back and finished the game and had a pretty decent game. He was going to be dealing with some soreness and some pain later in the week if it was, in fact, an AC joint sprain. I personally think Adams is going to play on Monday. The limited practice reports are not practicing this week is not all that surprising, especially if he is dealing with pain. He's a veteran wide receiver. He doesn't really need to be out there for those practice reps earlier in the week. I think you guys can fact check me on this, or maybe someone in the chat can fact check me on this. I think he got a limited practice in yesterday, which bodes well for his availability to play. So Monday, I expect them to give him something again for the pain, and I expect Devontae Adams to be out there. So it's worth rolling the dice, in my opinion. I know that's kind of scary with those Monday games, but in the leagues where I have Devontae Adams, I'm leaving him in my lineup.
I feel like he's going to be out there this week for sure, just because of who he's playing. I think he's going to want to put some points up on the Packers this week. All right. And we've been all doom and gloom here. We've been all doom and gloom this morning. Let's look at some guys that are expected to play this week. Cooper Kupp is going to be on the field. Everyone applaud if you drafted him in the first round. You get to see him this week. And Sean McVay said he was not going to be on a snap count. Hopefully we can trust Sean McVay on that. Jameson Williams will be out there. He will be, they said, a 20 snap count is what they said, but we'll see if he actually gets 20. He'll probably get more. Kenny Pickett is expected to play today. So is Jonathan Taylor, Derek Carr, and Odell Beckham Jr. Do you guys have any concerns rolling any of those guys out there this week if they're expected to start?
I think I'm a little bit worried about Jameson Williams out of all of them. He's the only one that I'd be hesitant to start, and then Kenny Pickett is another one. And Kenny Pickett, even if he was healthy, I'd be hesitant to start him. That's a whole other conversation there. But again, like I feel like they're going to ease Jameson Williams back into this offense. I don't know exactly how he meshes, but everyone else, like again, you drafted Cooper Kupp first round, you probably have to start him. If you drafted Jonathan Taylor, you've been waiting for this moment. Like we've seen Zach Moss do this, and Zach Moss is like the Jonathan Taylor injured a little bit is better than Zach Moss fully healthy. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of looking through the chat here. We're going to get some questions on Cooper Kupp, and he's somebody I know Sean McVay said he's not going to be on a snap count or limited in any capacity. I think when we look historically at the data of wide receivers coming off a hamstring injury and then those that re-injured the hamstring in the same season, I'd be really, really surprised if Cooper Kupp eclipsed that 80% snap share mark. I have him penciled in personally around the 55 to 65% mark. I think that still puts him in a flex play for you. Like Jagger was saying, if you invested a high draft capital in Cooper Kupp, you probably have to play him, but he's more of a flex option for me this week. So it kind of depends on some of the other options that you have on your team.
Perfect. And just make sure, guys, if you've not liked, subscribe, and comment on this video, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to the channel. We're here every Sunday, like I said, every Sunday game day. I won't be here in the offseason on Sundays. If I am, there's something wrong probably. I probably did something wrong and they're punishing me. But everybody else is doing good here. So let's take some questions, guys. Let's start hitting. We got the chat alive today. Let's see. Unite Santini, good morning. Christian Watson, Romeo Dubs, or Jordan Addison in PPR? Where are we going? Jagger?
I'm going Christian Watson. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jagger.
No, you're good. I'm going Dubs. But I can't really argue too much with Adam there. I think he's going upside, and I'm going safe floor.
That's a really great point. I was just about to say, like, if I had DJ Moore that played on Thursday, I'd probably go Dubs just to get a nice little safe number in there since I got a nice 55-point PPR performance out of him. But if I need some points, it's going to be Christian Watson. Okay, and then Jonathan Taylor, Raheem Mostert in PPR. Adam, where are we thinking there?
I'm going Raheem Mostert. I want to see it with Jonathan Taylor. There's hasn't been a whole lot of clarity. Ankle situation. Was it just a contract holdout? He has not played football in a really long time. Did not participate in the preseason at all. I want to see it with Jonathan Taylor first. I think they probably ease him in a little bit. So give me Raheem Mostert in a PPR league.
Do you agree, Jack?
I agree with that. Like I said, if you have the option either, then it's Mostert for me.
Hey, Sully 360. PPR, Gus Edwards, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Romeo Dubs, pick 3. So we've got to sit one of those guys. Which one are we sitting?
Probably Jordan Addison for me. I love the matchup with Zay Flowers. Dave Kluge had a really good short on that this week. And I'm not biased or anything, but essentially Patrick Peterson is like the ghost of Christmas past right now. I like Romeo Dubs to start this week because to me, he's been Jordan Love's guy. And even with Christian Watson, I've kind of seen where he fits in this offense, even though he hasn't been on the field, because Dontavian Wicks has been earning targets. And like, to me, that's where Christian Watson slides in. And then I'm still playing against a bad matchup. Gus Edwards can probably fall in the end zone. So that's where I'm at.
Adam, the second half of this question is Lamar or Tua. And I have him back to back, so I'm really torn. Where are you going on this?
It would be really, really hard for me to bench anybody in the Miami offense. I know Lamar Jackson has that rushing upside. He's playing Pittsburgh this week. Those typically can be kind of ugly games in those divisional matchups. I'm going Tua.
I've got Tua one spot ahead of Lamar, so I do agree with you.
Yep. Adam said it. You can't bench a Dolphin right now.
No, not at all. Unless it's a literal actual Dolphin on the field, then I think you could probably not play them. Although if it's a kicker, I would play Snowflake this week, just if you've got him in your lineups. All right. Start 2, guys. Good morning. And half PPR, Nico Collins, Brees Hall, Kyron Williams. Appreciate you guys. We appreciate you being here with us halftime of the game today. So we get to start 2 of these guys. Brees Hall is a definite start for me. Now that they're not going to limit his touches, he's the definite out of this group. Who else would you guys start? Or would you guys start Kyron and Nico?
Nico, to me, it's Nico and Hall. Nico is the unquestioned wide receiver one right now. And then regardless, like on the peripherals, Atlanta has been stopping or slowing down the pass. I just don't think that I think that the Texans have proven to us that against any team, they can put up 300 yards passing through the air. And again, I've been saying that Nico Collins has always been good. If you looked at his like reception perception profile or basically any of the peripheral data, he's been a quality wide receiver, and he's just needed CJ Stroud to unlock him. And we're seeing that. And like you said, Brees Hall, we're going with upside. Kyron Williams has been living off volume alone. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if Ronnie Rivers starts to eat in there, and I don't know how sustainable this level of performance is.
Adam, how you feeling? I see the head nodding. That's always good.
Yep, I'm good with that.
All right. Arthur in here. Good morning, Arthur. Need 2 running backs and a wide receiver and a flex from. So let's get the running backs out of the way first. Between Bijan, James Conner, Damian Pierce. It'd definitely be Bijan and Conner for me. Adam, where are you at on that?
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, same. I hate the matchup for Damian Pierce this week, and I am one of Damian Pierce's biggest fans. So that should tell you something. And then we need some wide receivers. We need a wide receiver between Nico, Calvin Ridley. Well, he's already on the field playing. Garrett Wilson and Josh Reynolds. So between those 3 that are not playing right now, I think it'd be Nico for us. Or would it be Garrett Wilson? Jagger, what do you think?
I actually like Garrett Wilson this week, and that's a lot of it. It's the Broncos. If you want to see like a funnel defense right now, I think that if any guy can get free, it's Garrett Wilson. But I do like to me, he's the upside play. Nico Collins is the safe play.
Okay. Well, he needs a flex too, so it'd be Nico and Garrett Wilson. So that's what it'd be for me. Yeah,
that's the answer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, Jason. Need one wide receiver and a flex in full PPR. So Romeo Doubs, Ramondre Stevenson, George Pickens, Tank Dell, Michael Wilson, and Kendrick Bourne. He's thanking us for the help. We thank you for being here. So one wide receiver and a flex. It would be Romeo Doubs and Tank Dell for me. Jagger, where you at?
Dubs and I think Dell or Stevenson to me. Like again, Stevenson it is a safe play, but I don't know if he's healthy, and he doesn't look particularly good right now. So I don't think
crazy.
I don't think it's crazy to bench Stevenson. Like on another show, I said that he was my bench of the week. So,
Adam, where you at on that one?
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the stuff I had on Stevenson. So, running backs that are dealing with a quadriceps type injury on average see a 20% decrease in fantasy production that first game back. Now that's an average. It doesn't apply to everybody, but when you take into consideration that the Patriots are playing the New Orleans Saints, who have a pretty good defense, and the Patriots offense hasn't really been lighting the world on fire with Mac Jones, I'm probably going to sit Ramondre Stevenson in favor of Tank Dell in that situation.
Yep.
All right. Good morning, Kyle. Pick 2, Waddle, Cup, and Ayuk. You got 3 good options. I think Waddle's the must out of the group. Between Cup and Ayuk, where are we going, guys?
It's Ayuk. I think Ayuk is a must. It's like Adam said that, like most likely you have to play Cup, but you're not one of those people. So like I think that you could feel good benching Cup and then putting in Waddle and Ayuk, and you're still going to get plenty of production.
Matthew in here. Good morning, Matthew. Need to start one of these 3 at wide receiver 2. Romeo Doubs, Zay Flowers, or Tank Dell. We've given a lot of love to Romeo, but are we going to go with we're going to take Flowers instead? I was trying to think of a really cool analogy with a rose because Romeo and Juliet, but couldn't get there, guys. I just couldn't get there.
If I'm going to give anyone flowers, it'll be Zay Flowers today.
There we go.
And it's again, it's all about matchup here. And then he has no competition whatsoever. Like, excuse me, Mark Andrews is there. But I mean, as far as the wide receiver room, Odell Beckham Jr. is clearly like a wide receiver 2 right now. And Rashad Bateman, I don't know. Adam, is he ever going to be healthy again?
I mean, yeah, that's the $1 million question for sure.
All right, Adam, Tank Dell or Jaleel McLaughlin, a half-point PPR and flex. It's probably Tank
I'm
Dell.
I'm leading Tank Dell in that situation. I know people are really excited about McLaughlin, but in that Texans offense, like it's Tank Dell and Nico Collins, and they eat into each other a little bit. We saw Tank Dell have a great week in week 3, and we saw Nico Collins have a great week in week 4. But if I have these guys, I'm plugging them in my flex every single week.
As the resident Samaje P. Ryan fan, I am not excited for Jaleel McLaughlin. He took all that work away from my buddy. All right. This guy sucks with Chuck Bass. Oh, well, okay. Would you rather start George Pickens against the Ravens or watch 7 straight episodes of Young Sheldon? Oh, boy. I would probably I would play Pickens.
It's not even a question. Like Chuck is trolling me. Like Young Sheldon is an awful show, and we've regressed as a society. But I digress. So,
oh God! All right. Good morning, Glenn's in here with us. Non PPR. Jalen Warren, Christian Watson, or Zay Flowers. Adam, where are we heading there?
I'm going Christian Watson. I know he had a tough week back, but that was to be expected coming off that hamstring injury. Christian Watson is somebody that most teams probably used high draft capital getting. I think this is the week you put him back in your lineup and roll the dice.
Jagger, where are you heading on that one?
I thought that we were 2 in sync for a minute. Here it comes. It's still Zay Flowers for me right now. Like he's had the low A dot, but the big plays I feel like are going to happen. There's going to be a little bit of regression to the mean there, even though we don't really have a mean yet. He's only played 5 games, but
I'm going to my rankings to make sure because I want it to be on. I do have Zay Flowers. Adam, I'm sorry. I know you're our guest, and I should probably side with you, but I'm going to go with the rankings. And Football Guys rankings is good.
No mercy here.
Carl, good morning, Carl. PPR 12 team, George Pickens or Rashee Rice or Aaron Jones or Rashee Rice. So basically, is Rashee Rice a good play this week?
He's a risky play this week. Like he has a good matchup, but I think I'm probably going with the other two options if I could. Like so the real question to me is George Pickens or Aaron Jones. And it's Aaron Jones. Like Vegas is bad in more ways than one. The only thing I like on Vegas is the receivers right now. So I expect we've seen AJ Dillon and he's not good. He's not good. Excuse me, he's not good enough to take over and ever, take anything away from Aaron Jones. So,
All right, Adam, where are you on that one?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Pickens and Aaron
Okay.
Jones. Rashee Rice is just kind of a fringe guy for me. These are two stud-ish type players. Aaron Jones is definitely a stud. George Pickens had some good and bad games, so I'm still playing George Pickens and Aaron Jones.
Perfect. All right, we got a DST question: Patriots, Colts, or Jets? It would
Patriots.
Well, Patriots, yeah. I was really hoping this Jets defense would be better this season, but just hasn't really shown it yet.
The Patriots game, I feel like, is going to be an ugly game. It's like when a stoppable force meets a very movable object. So,
all right. Good morning and love the show and the morning insights. Oh, well, thank you. We appreciate you being here. Need one for my PPR league and bye week has hurt my squad. Rashid Shaheed, Terrace Marshall, Jamison Williams, or Javonte Williams. He was a full participant on Friday. They're going to test him out before game. I'm going to come to you on this, Adam, because there is a little bit of an injury risk packed into this question. Which one of these players are you throwing in your lineup?
Yeah, the Javonte Williams one is tough because I do expect Javonte Williams to play, but it's a similar type situation with Ramondre Stevenson where in some circumstances they can have a little bit of a decline. I like Raheed Shaheed just for upside. How many are we picking? Need my wide receiver?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just play Raheed Shaheed and just hope for a long touchdown. I mean, I haven't seen much out of Terrence Marshall this season. Jamison Williams, we expect to be on a snap count. Javonte Williams hasn't shown much, plus the injury. Plus, I know the Jets defense hasn't been great, but it's still the Jets defense. So I'm going to go with Raheed Shaheed here. I know it's kind of risky.
I have the same logic except Jamison Williams, even with the snap count, because to me, I have a hard time seeing the New Orleans doing much in this game against the Patriots. And like I said, at the same time, I have a hard time seeing the Patriots do anything against New Orleans. So I'm going to go with Mr. Snap Count, Jamison Williams. So.
All right, Andy in here with a quarterback question. Russell Wilson or Matt Stafford, Jagger? You only get to play one of those quarterbacks today.
I'm going to go with Matt Stafford because I think that Rams game is going to be a shootout. So
I think we all agree on that. Andrew Goodman, good morning, Andrew. And he says, happy football day. What stadium is in your background there? I don't think that's a stadium. I think that's a construction site. All right, which two running backs in half PPR? Alvin Kamara, Kyren Williams, Aaron Jones, or take the risk on Jaleel McLaughlin? I think you've got three great options before Jaleel McLaughlin, so I wouldn't go there. It would be Kamara and Kyren for me because of the Aaron Jones injury risk, even though we are expecting him to play. Jagger, where are you going on that one?
Aaron Jones and Kyren. And I know this is I'm Mr. Hate New Orleans this morning, but I promise it's matchup. And last week he ate a lot of PPR points, but like I think he had the most targets that only went for like 15 yards. I think he went like 15 for 15 essentially is what it feels like. So
Adam, where are you on Andrew's question here?
Andrew, we're not going to help you at all because I'm going to go with Kamara and Aaron Jones. So I think we all gave different answers. So sorry, buddy, but those would be my two picks.
We weren't united on Kamara?
Well, you and I picked Kamara, but you picked Kyren over Aaron Jones. I picked Aaron Jones, and then Jagger picked Kyren and Aaron Jones.
Regardless, you don't start Jaleel. That's we gave you something to not.
Okay,
this is true. Yeah, so pick two of those guys. And you know what? Try to get one of the other three into your flex. There we go. We solved the question for you. All right. And here we go. And are any worth flexing over Goff and Superflex? No, Jared Goff is at home today. I am playing Jared Goff with quite a bit of confidence, even though the matchup.
Do you have Jalen? Do you have Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen? Then no.
Yeah,
or like Anthony Richardson or something like that.
All right. Jakob in here. Good morning, Jakob. Michael Thomas, Miles Sanders, Jordan Addison, or Jaleel McLaughlin?
Jordan Addison for me. And then
Yeah, I think I'll go
Jaleel McLaughlin by a little bit. Miles Sanders the Panthers are bad, so they got to turn it around before I do anything with them.
And Adam, Miles Sanders does have a groin injury. Has that kind of cleared up? Do you have any news on that?
I still think he's dealing with some lingering effects of that groin strain. I mean, Chuba Hubbard played a decent amount of snaps last week, and it was kind of iffy if Miles Sanders was going to play. I just looked up Chuba Hubbard played season high 54% of the snaps last week in the Panthers offense. That groin injury seems to be lingering for Miles Sanders, so he's somebody I'd be trying to avoid if I can in a situation like this.
Kwaiwan, Devonta Smith, Puka Nacua, or Jalen Waddle full PPR? This is our first Puka question. The last 3 weeks has just been dominated by Puka questions. So where are we going there, Jagger? You get to pick one of those guys.
And it's again, if you have a Dolphin, you play him. So like to me, it's Waddle, Devontae, and then Puka for me. So
Annie's in here with some tight end woes. I have Waller. Is that a good sign? I tried. But grabbed Ferguson. Okay. Was set on starting Ferguson, but second guessing. Stick with Ferg or start Waller and likely live with regret. Also Nico and Tank. So let's answer that tight end question. Waller or Ferguson? Man.
I'm gonna start Waller because I think he's good still. And they've had really bad matchups on the Giants. And is Andrew Thomas going to be back this week?
I'm not sure on that one, actually.
Yeah.
Adam, do you know anything?
Because if he's back, I feel more better.
I don't know a whole lot about offensive linemen, but so I can't help you on that one.
Womp. Okay. Anyway, I guess I'll get to my main point is that Fred Warner is one of the best cover linebackers in the league. And I don't want to mess with that right now, even though Ferguson's been really, I wouldn't even say he's been very good. He's just earned a lot of targets. He hasn't done a lot with them. So
he's felt like a Cowboys tight end. He's just getting targets, and what he does with them, hopefully he does something good. And then Nico or Tank, I think we're pretty united on Nico from earlier in the show. Grant's in here. Grant, hope your neck gets better. Morning, fellas. Hurting with buys and injuries, starting 2 of the 3. Jaden Reed, Darren Waller, Wan'Dale Robinson. So you got to start 2 of those. I like the matchup for Jaden Reed this week. He's been pretty productive in that Packers offense, so he would definitely be one for me. Adam, where are you going for the second guy? Or will you go Waller and Robinson?
So Wan'Dale Robinson is somebody in some of my deeper leagues I've kind of been playing around if I want to play him or not. We've seen his snaps increase steadily since coming off that ACL tear from last season. Wide receivers with Wan'Dale Robinson's makeup tend to do well after the year after an ACL tear. We like those shallower routes, low ADOT, high volume wide receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson seems to be more and more involved in that Giants offense, and that could be actually what's hurting Darren Waller too, is because they're competing for the same type of targets. So if you're hurting with injuries and you're looking for some upside, I've considered putting Wan'Dale Robinson in some of my lineups this week as well.
Yeah, I could put the reminder. Smash that like button. We love that like button. You should smash it as much as possible. Mike is in here. Good morning, Micah. I'm trying to get through the bye week with either Dobbs or Stafford. Who you got?
Stafford.
I would start Matthew Stafford. Yeah. I know the Eagles defense is tough, but I think we could have a shootout today a little bit between those two teams. All right. Jesse in here. I need to bench one. Ayuk. Oh, that was a fun spelling of Ayuk. Puka or CD. And for some reason I read CD like cheese, and I don't know why I did that. Brain's working overtime today. So bench one.
Puka? Do we bench Puka? Am I saying that? I think
he has the most. I think he has the most question marks. I don't like CD Lamb's matchup at all, but I'm not going to bench CD Lamb. So I'm really
he's been
stuck
good.
Here.
CD's been good. Like I had CD as a soft fade, meaning that I would much rather have AJ Brown and everyone else that were going around his range. He was at the bottom of that tier, but to me, he's looked really good. Dave Kluge said Andrew Thomas is officially out.
Okay.
and Saquon is officially out. Gibbs and Amon-Ra officially out. Thank you, Dave. You're doing the Lord's work.
Okay, so what we reported earlier in the show has kind of come to fruition a little bit, that we weren't expecting them to play and they're not playing. Thanks for those updates, Dave. Appreciate it. You could have been on today, but you decided not to be, so you should maybe. No, I'm kidding. All right, I'll hear about that later. All right, Ogilvy, good morning. Need 2.5 PPR. Mixon, Mostert, or Brees Hall? Oh, Brees Hall is one of them for me. Adam, where are you going in this one?
I've been kind of a wet blanket on Brees Hall, but I think, man, this is really tough. I'm definitely playing Mixon.
Okay,
It's a toss up between me and between Mostert and Brees Hall. I know Brees Hall is not supposed to be limited in any fashion or whatnot. His efficiency, though, if you look at, especially for running backs coming off an ACL tear, has not been great. He's had some big runs, but besides that, I mean, the efficiency has been really terrible. And I could go either way with Mostert or Brees Hall, though.
I think it's Mostert and Brees Hall for me, because like Mixon is. I will say he's doing the tried and true work, man. Like he's doing the same thing that he does. He's grinding out those 3 yards per carry and eating a couple of targets and grossing his way to 12 points. But at the end of the day, I'm going to shoot for the moon with Brees Hall and Mostert.
Okay. Fred's in here. Good morning, Fred. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Can these guys replace Alfredo and Dave? I'll hang up and listen. I don't know. We'll have to talk to Joe. We'll see what Joe has to say. All right. Pick one. PPR. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, or DeAndre Hopkins. We got to pick one of those guys. So
you ranked him, bud.
Yeah, I was about to say. Do we pick the current Texans or the former Texan? So, oh, Hoove's in here. Hoove trade. Nico Collins or Hollywood Brown. Where are we going, guys? It's Nico Collins for me.
Yep.
All right. Dabak Luge in here. Ezekiel Elliott versus New Orleans or Tyler Algier versus Houston. Half PPR.
I think I'll go with Elliott, to be honest, because I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave. I think it's Elliott by a little bit. Algier is he had his week, and I should have traded him when I had the chance.
With Ramondre struggling so much lately, I wouldn't be surprised to see Zeke get a little more involved. I thought it was going to happen in that Dallas game, and we were told it was going to happen in the Dallas game, but I think it still could happen this season. Bill Belichick's a funny guy. All right, Glenn Walker. Adam, where are we going between Christian Watson and Zay? Ooh, we've pretty much answered this, and you're on the Watson side, and Jagger and I are on the Zay Flower side, but I think they're both really good starts today. Mm-hmm. Last flex spot, Jonathan Taylor or Christian Watson? I would take the safety of Christian Watson. Adam, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think we don't know what we're going to see from Jonathan Taylor, like I talked about.
I agree. Yeah, like more simpatico again. It feels nice. So
that. Next question: Zay Flowers or Jacoby Myers?
Zay Flowers.
Yeah. I think Zay Flowers is the right call.
Everyone's favorite chat cat. Every chat should have one. Beautiful morning, guys, from Mr. Scampers. Good morning, Scampers. Morning, fellas. Full PPR, sit one, Hollywood, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Tank Dell. You got to sit one of those guys. Probably Hollywood Brown.
Mm-hmm. That's for me. I'm curious to what Adam thinks because Kupp, the injury or whatnot.
Yeah. Hollywood Brown's been really good in PPR leagues. I don't think he's scored under double-digit points at all this season. Mm-hmm. I think I really like Tank Dell, and I know we were talking him up earlier in the show, but I think I'd be sitting Tank Dell in this situation, but it's close for me.
Okay. We got Roland in here. Morning, guys. Rashee Rice or Jaleel McLaughlin? With Javonte out?
Jaleel.
If Javante's out.
Right. Yeah, it's Jaleel. But I will say Rashee Rice, I think, is a high upside play. So if you need to shoot for the moon, I think that's the guy. I think McLaughlin's definitely a floor play.
All right. Mostert, Montgomery, Kamara, we need to. Which one are we benching here? Oof. I know Montgomery almost feels like a lock today.
Yep.
Yeah. Kamara, Montgomery. Are you still going to bench Kamara? So we like Mustard. Okay. Chris Pina. Dolphins DST versus Giants or Cowboys DST versus 49ers. This might be the first time this season I say don't go away from the Cowboys DST. I would play Dolphins DST versus the Giants.
Yep.
Okay, not a sidewalk. Well, I wonder what he is if he's not a sidewalk. Braxton Berrios, Jake Ferguson, Kenneth Gainwell need to flex 1.5 PPR. Adam, between those three studs, where are you heading?
I think I'm gonna go with Kenny Gainwell. It's a point PPR. I know everyone likes DeAndre Swift, and DeAndre Swift has looked good. The Eagles are still using Kenny Gainwell a decent amount. And if it's not a tight end premium, I'm not flexing Jake Ferguson by any means. So I think I would go Kenny Gainwell.
When you put it like that, that doesn't sound wrong. So I'm actually like, I was at first, I'm like, ugh, that's like way wrong. And then I was cool with it. So I'm definitely, I agree with Adam after that. Though, like he sold me, Adam. Good.
I grossed out Joey so much with my Kenny Gainwell one. He dipped for a second. He's like, I need to.
Oh,
he's like Kenny Gainwell.
My camera's glitching. I don't know if I just took the wrong pill and I'm in the Matrix or what, but all right, Dolphins there. Let's see. Stevenson, Dylan, Pirine, or McLaughlin or Spears today. And it's at the RB2 and half point PPR. I think this might be where I go Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah. It's you got to in that case. Everything else is getting cute and it could happen, but remember that we're playing a game with statistics.
Yeah, Fred's in here again reminding us to like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, Fred, for keeping us honest there. Eagles D-line going to cause havoc today. All right, Allie. We'll see if it happens. And are you crazy to start Rashee Rice over Olave in your standard league? I don't want to call you crazy. I don't know if I would do it, though.
I will say Dave said in the chat earlier that Olave seems to be dealing with an ankle issue in warmups, and that's something to keep an eye on. But at the same time, I am not benching Chris Olave. So and to make you feel better, River, I'm starting him regardless of what I hear too. So if it flops, we could flop together. So.
Oh, that's fun. It's always fun to flop with a friend. So
yeah.
Lady Mo need a flex without the Sun God, and so no Amon St. Brown today. Jalen Warren or pick up Josh Reynolds or Khalif Raymond. So is Josh Reynolds active? Did we get news on that?
I've been checking here periodically. I've not seen anything come across on Josh Reynolds. I think he's going to be closer to a game time decision.
Okay.
If he was out, I think Khalif Raymond is really, really, really. Let me see. Oh, Josh Reynolds is active today, according to sleeper updates on NFL. Right. So I would probably go with Jalen Warren then in that situation.
Same.
Okay. All right. Allie in here. Breece Hall or Ramondre Stevenson? I'm going to go Breece Hall. Adam, where are you going on that?
This is a situation where I would take Breece Hall.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Scampers with the IDP update for the day. JC Jackson will play. Randy Gregory won't. All right. Good morning, Brian. Should this trade be vetoed? I'm just going to say yes in the dark. I haven't read the rest. Last team trading for Jamar Chase to commissioner for Waller and Zay Flowers.
No.
I don't think a trade, unless there is obvious collusion, should ever be vetoed.
Never vetoed.
Zay Flowers is a good player, and there was just an update today that Joe Burrow may not be healthy for 100% for a couple of weeks. I know it's Jamar Chase, but if this guy's desperate and needs a tight end, that's not that far off, and we don't veto trades unless it's clear collusion. So,
all right, not Heather's here. Hey, one Scott Fishbowl flex. Chico Okonkwo, Khalif Raymond, or Calvin Austin. I'd play Khalif Raymond out of these three. Jagger, where are you going?
Khalif Raymond, probably. Even with the bonuses for tight ends, Okonkwo has been a big flop this year. He's Jonnu Smith Part 3.
But Jonnu Smith's actually been somewhat productive this year.
Don't remind me.
I know. Where's the clown nose? Where's it at? Right.
It's nearby.
Good morning, Rachel. All right, Kristen here. Start non-PPR. Start 1. Michael Thomas, Michael Gallup, Brandon Cooks, Michael Wilson, or Khalif Raymond. It was really hard not to read all those as Michaels. We got to start 1.
My favorite Michael Wilson for me. I think that he's looked better every year, and he's earning targets. And then there's a clear role for both him and Marquise Brown. We've already seen that Marquise Brown, big play underneath guy that they can move all over the place. And then you got your actual X, which is Michael Wilson. So
we got about 5 minutes. We're going to rapid fire through the rest of these. I'll just shout it out. You guys throw it back to me. Tank Dell, Michael Thomas, Wandale. I think it's Tank Dell for all of us.
Agreed.
Yep. All right. Good morning, Matt. Gross options. Michael Wilson, Brandon Cooks, Tank Dell. I don't think Tank Dell's very gross at all.
Yeah. Dell's not. That's not gross.
Yeah, you needed two of those, I think. So I think you got two solid options. No, you're good. I think you got two solid options there. You can pick any of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think it's Michael Wilson and Dell for me.
Mm-hmm. Good morning. 2 running backs and 2 flexes. Let's get the 2 running backs out of the way. Aaron Jones, Ramondre, Mostert, Madison.
Aaron Jones, Mostert for me.
Agreed.
Okay. And then 2 flex. Let's add Romeo Doubs, Chris Olave, and Cooper Kupp into the mix.
Olave is a start, and then Dubs for me because of what Adam said about Kupp. Because you clearly got good receivers. You don't have to start them.
Yeah. PPR, who do you start? Cooper Kupp, A-Chain, or Kyron Williams?
A-Chain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Twinkle in here. Mahomes, Lamar, or Tua? You got to pick 2. Mahomes and Tua. We already said we would play Tua over Lamar. We said that earlier today.
Bingo.
So we'll stick with it. He already said that in there. Rank these 4 this week. Puka, Brees Hall, Christian Watson, Zay Flowers.
Swap Puka and Brees, and you rank them backwards for me. Like Zay Flowers, Christian Watson, Puka, then Brees.
I think that's fair.
Probably, yeah,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, need some help at PPR. Boyd, Addison, or Wilson? Thank you.
Addison.
Agreed.
I do like the Boyd play though a little bit. If Burrow can't throw it far, it'll be interesting to see. Morning, Juan. I need help with flex. Christian Watson or Nico Collins?
Nico.
Tough. This one's tough. I'm the tiebreaker. I'm gonna go Nico Collins. All
right. Don't listen to me. Listen to these 2 guys. All right, Michael Wilson or Jacoby Myers. That's an interesting one.
Jacoby Myers. Yeah.
I think so.
We'll get a little. This is the anti-sorry Joe. Blank you blank because he took the bad stuff out. How worried are you about Ramondre? We talked about it a little bit. We're slightly worried about him. Would you start Spears or McLaughlin over him? I'm not that worried.
Not that worried. Yeah.
No.
All right. Need to drop 2 to take Kupp and Taylor off IR. Tank Dell, Jordan Addison, Kenneth Gainwell, or McLaughlin or Tajay Spears. I would probably drop McLaughlin for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
out of this group.
And I don't know. To me, it's Spears and Gainwell for me. I know like I can hear Jeff crying in the background. No, he's at his daughter's soccer game. He doesn't care. But I know he's a big Tajay Spears guy.
So I'll say this real quick because I know we're going rapid fire. I would drop Tajay Spears and Jaleel McLaughlin. DeAndre Swift has never gotten above a 64% opportunity share in an offense and not sustained some type of injury. He's always been kind of a lower workload volume guy. For that reason, I would hold on to Kenny Gainwell because I think he has flex appeal and he is probably one of the best handcuffs that you could have if something happened to DeAndre Swift.
All right, Roland. Happy PR, Darren Waller, Zach Ertz. Ooh, I like the work Zach Ertz is getting. Am I that bold, though? I think I am that bold. I'll go Zach Ertz.
I'm with you.
He's eating targets, man. He won't end. He's like, it's always sunny in Philadelphia. You're like, oh, crap, there's a new season, and it's good is what's crazy.
Damian Pierce and Nico Collins. Give me Nico Collins.
Yes.
Jalen or Warren or Matt Breida. No Saquon. We're still going.
Yeah.
We're still going Warren?
Yep.
All right, JD, really gross question. Craig Reynolds or Dalvin Cook in PPR today?
Dalvin. Smidge, I think. Yeah.
All right. And we're going to hit one more here. Tua or Stroud, we're going to go Tua Tagovailoa. Well, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment. Also, you can hop over to the Football Guys Discord. We're answering start-sit questions there throughout the mornings after we get off the show here today. And, guys, anything else for us today?
No, man, it's just 7 hours of commercial-free football for me.
Wow.
So,
And you said it before Hanson. So,
I
Jagger's
know.
now the main key on that. Adam, thank you so much for being here with us today. It was a pleasure. So much better than that Jeff Bell guy. All right, guys. Everybody, have a great day of football. We'll see you next week.
Peace.